Hey, Buff Nation, voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson here. This week in a Buffalo Stampede, we're going to talk with the red-hot CU women's basketball team getting their second consecutive top 15 win. We're going to talk with point guard Jalen Sherrod. Men's team coming off 2 losses in L.A. We'll hook up with associate head coach Mike Rohn. Also, while in L.A., we're able to connect with a couple of great Buffs, the 25s, McKinley Wright and Spencer Dinwiddie. And also, it's part 2 of our 3-part series with athletic director Rick George. All this week on the Buffalo Stampede.
Such a nice shot. And Miller underneath finishes.
Buffs played really good tight.
Frida with the quick 3. A 72-65 win for the CU Buffs.
Well, for the second week in a row, that is quite a celebration of the women's locker room here at the University of Colorado. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Buffalo Stampede. Voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson. Colorado, its second consecutive top 15 win. Last week, number 8, Utah. This week, 72-65 under number 14, Arizona. Jalen Sherrod, point guard for the Buffaloes. Yeah, you kind of get used to that. It's kind of fun, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. It's a blessing, and it's just like this team has grown over the years so much. So it's just good to see it all getting paying off.
That game was a little bit back and forth early on. You guys jump out, 10 points early, I think, at the first quarter. They win the second quarter, so you got a pretty kind of a dogfight going on.
Yeah.
Got to take us through the second half and how you eventually pulled away.
It was just about focusing on what we need to execute. We knew Arizona is a tough team. We knew, they're very experienced. They have a lot of experience. And we're kind of on the younger side, so being in that position. But I think the game from Utah also taught us how to be in that position and be able to compete and just execute. I think everything that we do always falls back on us and what we're doing offensively and defensively. So once we were able to execute, we was just in the flow of the game.
I'd have to think success breeds success, right? I mean, you have a great win over Utah, knock off at that time an undefeated team, come back. There's a belief, this is kind of the confidence of this team, I think we're growing.
Yeah, the confidence is great. Frida shooting the ball really well for us right now. Nettie is just a dog down there in the post. So I think everybody has their thing. Quay, as a leader and as a senior, has started to breathe confidence into the younger kids too. So it's just like everybody's pretty much doing their jobs and everybody's just doing what is expected of them, and it's just working out.
Yeah, Aaron Vonleh, by the way, was at Arizona.
It was at
That means a little something extra for her,
yeah,
doesn't it?
we definitely wanted to go get that win for her.
Yeah.
It's not to say, it's a game at the end of the day, but some stuff is personal and it's just an experience. So.
Buffaloes get the win 72-65, now sitting at 14-3 on the season. By the way, they're tied for first in the Pac-12 after the win over the Cats. We heard from head coach J.R. Payne. Presented by Coors Light. Coors Light, mountain cold refreshment made to chill. Celebrate responsibly.
Oh my gosh, so happy, so proud. So many different people stepped up in huge key moments. It wasn't just Frida's 3. It was Frida's 3. It was Tay's rebound. It was Quay's box out. It was Jalen's attack, draw the foul. So many different people, came up big, and our composure was great. Free throws not so great down the stretch, but so much composure, execution, defensive switching up, and just a really great team win. Very proud of our ball club. Thought it was a great crowd. I think we'll continue to grow our crowds because we're playing really good basketball. We play with a lot of emotion. We're a very competitive group. I think most days in practice, there's a lot of fire and grit and competitive sort of spirit in what we're doing. So not surprising at all that we would play, a game of this caliber in that way. But I love to see celebration photos, like the way that our team celebrates each other, the way that we share the ball, in big moments is very unselfish, and it's fun to coach.
There's head coach J.R. Payne after the Buffaloes get the win over number 14, Arizona, here at the event centers. We continue with Jalen Sherrod. You mentioned just a moment ago, how talented this team is and the way Frida's shooting the basketball. I would have to think as a point guard, as good as she is spot up. You can rack up some assists just kind of kicking her every once in a while.
Yeah, it just opens up the floor when Frida's hitting. It opens up the floor for me. It opens up the floor down low for the post players. It actually opens up the floor for everybody. So when Frida's on, it's really good for our basketball team. And like I said, I just love the confidence she's playing with right now.
You guys dominated the boards in that game, plus 19, I think it was. As I'm watching your box scores this season long, this is a very good rebounding team you guys have become.
Yeah, I think our coaches always emphasize getting extra possessions, getting second chance points, so that all comes off of rebounding. And also, Arizona's a good rebounding team, so we knew going into that game it would be very important for us to rebound, box out, and just limit their possessions, limit their second chance points.
Well, it's about time, by the way. Colorado finally ranked. They're only 14-3. You've got a couple of top 15 wins. I don't know what took so long. I'm not going to ask you that, get you in trouble here, but it's awful nice to be in the top 25, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's like I said earlier, it's a blessing. I think this is my second year being ranked. So it's just a chip on the shoulder to keep going. But I mean, as much as it's a blessing, we're also thinking next man up, who's next, and always respecting the opponent, because in the Pac-12, it could be anybody's night.
Yeah, well, after the Arizona game, you think they would play Arizona State. That didn't happen. Arizona State had a forfeit over the weekend. Now you got to go on the road, and you got a big road trip coming up. Got to go to the Bay Area. Got to take on Cal on Friday nights, and then Stanford on Sunday. You got a big challenge coming up.
Yeah, Cal and Stanford are both respectively really good schools and very dangerous. I mean, you know who Stanford is. We all know who Stanford is. But Cal is a very talented team, young too, full of energy. Got Peanut on the team as well, so it'd be good getting to play against her too.
That'll be kind of strange, won't it?
Yeah.
Don't come down to court and then just out of instinct just throw her the ball. Don't do that, okay?
All right.
Hey, keep up the good work.
I appreciate it.
All right, Jalen Sherrod, senior women ranked 24th in the country at the Bay Area this weekend after 2 wins over top 15 programs. Coming up next, we're going to talk with the CU men's team, and associate head coach Mike Rohn is going to join us. Against Morgan, squares up now, backs his way in the paint, spins over the right shoulder, hook shot with the left hand is up and good, and the iron is kind. Lovering has got 6, and a timeout called by him. On the left side, half down the lane, throws it high, caught it, slam! Holy cow! Who was that man out of Wyoming? High above the rim and throw it down by Lawson Lovering. Well, the Buffaloes are on the road in Los Angeles to take on USC and UCLA. Big fellow, Lawson Lovering, putting up some nice numbers, really played well, especially against USC at 13 points, 14 rebounds, 7 offensive. Voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson, associate head coach Mike Rohn, joining us here for a couple of minutes. Before we get talking about the ball games, you work with Lawson a lot. I thought we saw the young man grow up a little bit these last couple of games. Yeah,
he just keeps coming. In the last probably 3 weeks, he's got some confidence about him that we haven't seen, and you know we need that. Yeah. And it was nice to see in that USC game. You know, he got some dunks, and the guys made some easy passes to him and got him going. And sometimes you just get an easy one to go, and good things can happen from there. But he played tough, played hard.
You know, Mike, we hear this all the time. You know, Scott Wilkie on our broadcast, being a big guy, talks about it takes longer for the big guys to develop. Why is that?
Some of them, it just does. Yeah. You know, probably just because it's a more physical game in college, and they don't get to play like that as much in high school. So, you know, a guy like Lawson, his body's still coming. You know, he's still long and thin, but he's getting stronger. And when strength comes, and you realize how hard you have to play and the physicality, that's what just takes a little longer for some guys. Yeah. And it's happening with him.
There is that mental aspect of it where you got to stop thinking and just start playing, right? And sometimes when you're a young player, you're thinking all the time, what do I need to, but you can tell there's moments where he'll get it, and instead of the wheels turning, he just goes to the rim, boom, dunks it, or makes a nice move. And so there is part of that aspect of it, isn't there?
Definitely. And we've been talking to him a lot about just dunking the ball lately. Yeah. You know, he's long, he's athletic, and sometimes when he overthinks and he's got all this good footwork, and he's trying to always go to his next move and I'm like, dude, just tear the rim down, man. If I were you, you know, I'd try to dunk it every time.
Throw it down, big man. Throw it down.
So he's getting some of those, and that just gives you life.
He's got that Lone Ranger mask again on tonight. Drives against Entienne, gets by him to the rim. Oh, the Lone Ranger with the right hand off the window, and it's up and good. He saw the mismatch with the 6'10" Entienne. Rebounding baseline right off to her left, looks in the paint, bounces off. Lovering, the catch goes to the dunk, slams with 2 hands over the top of Jaquez, and the and one coming. Oh, what a flush that time. Throw it down, big man. Throw it down. KJ gets it back from Ethan Wright. Has it between the circles. Pick is set to his right. There's the roll. Drives down the paint. His way to the hoop. Took a bump that time. Kicks it off the window. As he got pushed away, he hooked it off off the glass, and it's a potential three-point play in the There's some highlights for the Buffaloes as they ran across town to take on the Bruins, a top 10 team at UCLA. As we continue with associate head coach Mike Rohn. You know, both these games, they kind of fit together here. There's one common theme between the two of them. Colorado played well in some respects. Defense was pretty good, rebounded relatively well. But Mike, the turnovers, you and I were just talking before we went on camera. 65 turnovers in 2 games, in what, 22 and 23 against those 2 LA schools.
Yeah, when you do that, it makes it really hard on your team, and especially on your defense. And our defense was really good in both games. You know, we held them, you know, under 40% field goal percentage, and both those teams are really good offensively. So, you know, we did some really good things from the defensive standpoint. We're getting better there. But, man, when you turn that ball over, it's like you're just playing from 20-some possessions less than your opponent, and that's really hard, especially against really good teams.
Yeah, you look at those two teams, 65 turnovers combined, 9 and 11 block shots. So right there, 65 empty possessions in those 2 games against high-caliber teams. Does that come down? Is it a physical thing? Is it just a mental thing? Well, how do you guys approach this?
Yeah, I think a little bit of it is mental. You know, kind of it's like free throw shooting sometimes. When it starts going bad, it kind of can snowball a little bit as a team. And, you know, we've got to get better in that area. And we've been trying to do a lot of things to improve in that area. We've been, you know, doing some conditioning in practice when we turn it over too many times as a team or an individual. And it's something that we just continue to have to keep working on. And, you know, once we figure that part out of it now, the guys have really improved defensively, you know, especially from the Cal game. Coach challenged them, and they've gotten better defensively. And now it's just the next step of making the game easier on ourselves and not giving them the ball.
You know, so here we're working our way towards the end of January already, right? And you guys well notice, I mean, every game becomes big this time of year. Now, the good news is we're coming back home here, right? We got the Washington schools coming up. Going to be challenging games, no doubt about it. But, boy, the importance of defending this court we're standing on, huge.
It is, you know, and this is typically, you know, we play well at home, you know, and we're going to have to do that again. Obviously, we'll only play Washington State once, but UW beat us at their place, and so, you know, you got to protect home court in this league, and you got to sneak them on the road, and that's what we're going to do this week. We had a good practice today. Good to hear it. And the Buffaloes, their turnover numbers, by the way down at home as well. He's associate head coach Mike Rohn. I'm voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson. We'll continue on the Buffalo Stampede after a quick timeout. Stampede, voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson. Just talked to Mike Rohn, the associate head coach for the Colorado Buffaloes. Buffs on the road against the LA schools. And while there, in fact, on Wednesday, while we were practicing at the Galen Center, we found out that the Dallas Mavericks were working one of the other gyms. And, of course, you got the 25s, a couple of great Colorado Buffaloes on that Mavericks roster. And we were able to connect with Spencer Dinwiddie and McKinley Wright. Gives up to George King up the left side. Dinwiddie sets the feet, fires the three, right between the eyes from downtown. Dribbles the ball up top, looks to penetrate up the right side, throws up the floater. It's off the window from the right side, and it's good by Spencer Dinwiddie. Behind the back dribble down the left side of the lane, leans in, contact off the window. Count it, the whistle, and a foul, and a potential three-point play. And that right there is the strength and physicality of 6-foot McKinley Wright.
Hey, back in the Buffalo Stampede, voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson here. The Buffs basketball team in Los Angeles, and we were sharing a practice facility with the Dallas Mavericks. Look who we stumbled upon here. McKinley Wright, Spencer Dinwiddie. You can't reach it. We got to defer to the elder statesman here for the first question. You got to do the and it's been all week. You come around the Buffs.
Yeah. No, it's fun. It's always fun to come back to LA. I'm actually a little nervous because I got the better 25 and a lot of expectation.
9 years in the NBA. Can you believe it? You get old.
Yeah, I mean, I can believe it because I think we're good at basketball, but it's tough because I'm about to be 30 and now I feel really old and you're aging and so.
You're in a good spot right now, Dallas, aren't you?
Yeah, Dallas and Brooklyn are my 2 favorite spots in the year so far, so I feel blessed to be a part of this team.
How about having this guy part of the team?
Oh, man, it's big time.
Isn't that cool?
Having a fellow Buck.
2 years in the NBA then, sir. You kidding me? That's going. You landed in a great spot, right?
Favorite spot. Obviously, I got my vet right here. The original 2-5. Took me under his wing, holds it down for me, teaching me the game. So it's a blessing to obviously be in Dallas. I feel like I was in Colorado yesterday. Obviously, I know everybody on the team still. All my young guys, it's good to see them grow and develop. But I'm blessed to be in the position I'm in Dallas right now.
Now, how much did you guys talk? Now, you would have been long ago by the time you got there. Did you guys have any communication when you were still playing for the Bulls?
Yeah. I mean, they come back, Coach Bill and Alpo. Older guys always come back and play against us a little bit, and just reaching out to him, asking for tips when I was a freshman and sophomore, and him being a Buff, being able to reach back out while he was in the NBA was pretty big for me. It helped my development and my growth at Colorado and now in the NBA.
What have you learned from him?
Everything, how to be a true point guard, just decision making, leadership, communication with guys, not being scared to be yourself. It's a lot of things. Some things go unspoken, just by his actions, but there's a lot of things I like.
Spence, is that part of the biggest transition for a guy? Is he linked to be a pro?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's something that Colorado actually kind of helps you with. To be honest, whether it be the alumni network for other pros like Alec or Dre that helped me, or obviously myself helping Cam, but then also just Coach Boyle. But no, I think overall it's a family environment and atmosphere, and it helps everybody kind of help each other, and it kind of warmed my heart to hear how you spoke about me. I didn't even know some of that. I appreciate you.
Is it kind of cool? I mean, I don't know if you're thinking about it. You got a game to worry about. You ever think about the fact that you're on the court at the same time?
Yeah. Actually, one of the times he threw me an assist to the court. I hit the three. Social media kind of went crazy. Yeah. And all the Buffs Twitter just tweeting the fall. Anytime we on the court together, he make me pick up 90 clips. Hey, you want? And I said, man. Hey, the funny part, that's just bad because like when I used to cut the game as a rookie, like Karan Butler used to make me do that. And he's way better than mine. I'm like, shoot, with somebody, that's one way you get. Now tell me, you're not pulling rookie stuff on him, are you? No. Well, I throw the invitationals and make him pick up 90. I'm here to see a player. I try to throw more live. I can't.
This would be different for you than it would be for Ken. What's it like to come back out here and see Tab, the staff, and the guys you still remember?
Like when I told Coach that I was about to turn 30 this year, he looked at me like I was like I don't want.
Well, that means he's old as well.
No, hey, he's aging gracefully. Even the wiper aging beautifully. It's me. Like I got the scruff and I'm tired now. I need that.
And for you, it's not that big a deal. You got two guys who were still teammates.
I don't need that shit. Obviously, I got a bunch of guys that out there still that I played with recently, so it's crazy to see those guys grow. Tristan and Flourish, and got the chance to, I think, to be back to a player of the year, keep playing, keep winning games. I watch every game. I try not, unless we have a game, I don't miss a game. So I watch their growth the entire year, and these last couple of weeks.
Let me ask you, it's different for Spence, so this for you, since you're newer in the league. Do you look at yourself as a role model for them, Spence?
Yeah, of course. When they were just struggling a couple weeks ago, KJ was reaching out to me how I was for Spence. So KJ, he's somebody I try to take under my wing. He reach out a lot anytime he's struggling or the team's struggling. If he's trying to ask for tips and advice, it makes me feel good to be able to give them some type of tip.
Lastly, here's Spence. I think back to when you got hurt and made the decision then to go to the NBA. And at the time, I'm thinking, I knew he was a great player, but I remember thinking, well, you're betting on yourself. That's turned out phenomenal for you. Yeah, but the belief you've had yourself your whole career is really spectacular.
Yeah, I mean, I think that stems from my parents, what they instilled in me at a young age, and then there's been points in the road where I needed some help, you know what I'm saying, just in terms of how I felt about myself and believing in myself. And I always point to like my first 5 or 6 games in Colorado, like if coach give up on me, then, I'm definitely not in this position, you know what I mean? Because I needed a good freshman year, sophomore year to even be, you know what I'm saying, on the draft board where I was. So, if he gives up on me, maybe I'm buried on the bench, maybe I'm a 4-year player, maybe I have to transfer or go to China or something else. But no, I'm serious, and you got to remember, decisions like that change lives. And I've been able to change my family's trajectory, right? Sure. And sometimes it's that butterfly effect that Coach Boyle, doesn't have a belief in me. My family doesn't have the life that they have now, so I'm extremely indebted to that. So, and extremely appreciative.
Speaking of which, how's that little?
He's great. Yeah. 4.5, turns 5 this year.
Here we go.
Thinks they running things, but he's not. You know his dad is.
Hey, you guys keep it up. We're so proud of you guys. Congratulations for all the success. And that's one of the Dallas Mavericks fans right there. Always great to catch up with a couple of my favorite guys in my 19 years here doing games for the Buffaloes. McKinley Wright, Spencer Dinwiddie, both having great NBA careers right now with the Dallas Mavericks. Coming up next here in the Buffalo Stampede, we're going to have part 2 of our 3-part series with athletic director Rick George. Well, it was great to see the track team getting its season underway with an indoor meet at the indoor practice facility. By the way, here's an interesting note. We will not have a home outdoor track meet here this upcoming season for the Colorado Buffaloes because they're putting in a brand new track in the outdoor facility to get it ready for the 2024 Pac-12 championships.
so no home meet for the Buffaloes. Back in the Buffalo Stampede, voice of the bus, Mark Johnson. Time for segment number 2 of our 3-part series as we had Ralphie's Rundown with Rick, Athletic Director Rick George, and we talked about a great fall semester here at the University of Colorado. Powered by Ford, cars, trucks, and SUVs built for America, built Ford proud.
Hertenstein open up and stride. Hertenstein in full stretch now. The transfer from Indiana is closing on Venters. And here comes Bailey Hertenstein. Look at Bailey Hertenstein go. She is going all out and all the way home. Bailey Hertenstein wins the Pac-12 2022 championship.
Well, the bus Bailey Hertenstein taking home the trophy for Pac-12 champion in cross country, along with the women, by the way. So we continue with Rick George here on Ralphie's Rundown with Rick. You always talk about here at Colorado, we compete and win championships.
Right.
Well, cross country does that a lot.
They do it a lot, and they've done a great job. And Mark and Heather and their staff have done a great job. The student athletes, I mean, they're not only elite athletically, they're elite academically. And that program always has great students that represent that program. And Bailey Hertenstein, I watched that race, and we were screaming in my conference room, and the way she won that race and, you know, coming down the stretch was really impressive. And, you know, winning the Pac-12 championship for our women is really special.
Yeah, that's what you call a kick, by the way, at the end of that race.
That was a kick.
Yeah,
I don't have that.
No, neither of us. We used to, but not anymore. There's no doubt about that. So the women win the championship, men finish in top 5. Bailey comes home with the women's crown. You know, you've frequently gone out and worked out with some different athletes. You ever run with Bailey?
No, I can't run at that level or that long.
Right, exactly right. Hey, Mark Wetmore, here you talk about his program and all the winning and all the accolades he gets. He was just nominated, or I should say inducted, into a National Hall of Fame for cross country.
The National Track Cross Country Hall of Fame, so that's pretty special, and it's kind of, you know, who he is. I mean, he's one of the best, if not the best, in the business.
Yeah, that's a program Mark doesn't have to worry a whole lot about, right? You just win. They just go out and compete, and they graduate. Speaking of graduation, by the way, how about the graduation rate for the fall semester here at the University of Colorado with our athletes? Record-setting, 96%.
96%, and we were over at 3.1 GPA again. You know, our student athletes, you know, we talk about this all the time. We want them to compete on the playing surface. We want them to compete in the community. We want them to compete in the classroom, and they're just doing a phenomenal job. And like I said, our cross-country team and ski team, and I mean, they just do a phenomenal job of work in the classroom as well as on the playing surface.
You know, we talk about it a lot in terms of the graduation rates, the GPAs, and what a great job we do here at Colorado. That group behind it, though, in the Herbst Academic Center, they maybe don't get enough accolades for the hard work they do with the student athletes.
Right. Look, Chris Livingston and her team, they do a great job, you know, but it's a culture that we've created here. Our coaches have bought into it, our trainers, you know, everybody is talking to them about academics and how are you doing, and our student athletes are just achieving at a very high level. And, you know, we need to win more championships in all of our sports, but, you know, the fact that Pac-12 championship for our cross-country team, for our women, that's great, and we just need more of those.
Lastly, you're talking about teams competing at a high level. How about the volleyball team going to the NCAA tournament this year?
Yeah, that was great. It was good to see them get to the tournament. They got a pretty tough draw, in my opinion, going down to play Rice at Baylor. And but, you know, they had a great season, and they competed at a very high level, which is exactly what we want. And, you know, they were a lot of fun to watch. They've got a lot of talent on that team. They've got a lot of talent coming back. So we're looking forward to the future. But the fact that they made the NCAA tournament, that was really important.
Thanks to Athletic Director Rick George and our Ralphie's Rundown with Rick. We're going to have one more piece coming up next week as we continue talking with the lead man here at the University of Colorado Athletic Department. Putting a wrap this week in the Buffalo Stampede. Don't forget the men's team hosting Washington on Thursday night right here at the Event Center. 7 o'clock tip-off. Make sure these stands are filled. By the way, we'll hit the air at 6:30 on the Colorado Basketball Network. Thanks for joining us this week. We'll talk to you next time on the Buffalo Stampede.